Hey everyone, welcome back to the Flying Cat Marketing interview series. I'm Maiva Cifuentes, and today I'm speaking to Vanessa de Souza Lage. I'm really excited to speak to her today because not only is she the CMO of Rentals United, which is one of the leading channel managers in the vacation rental tech industry, but also she's just an inspirational marketer. She founded the vrtech event, which is an event for tech companies in the vacation rental industry, and she's overall super prolific, and she has a lot of experience growing a brand from SEO, building the blog, and experimenting with a lot of different channels, pivoting customer avatars, and we're going to be talking about all of that in this interview today, and I'm really excited for you to watch it. So if you do enjoy it, please give it a like, share with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe, and I'll see you in there. Hello and welcome back to the Flying Cat Marketing video interview series. Today I'm speaking with Vanessa de Souza Lage, who is the CMO of Rentals United, and I'm really excited to speak to her today, to you today. Rentals United is a leading channel management platform in the short-term rental industry. You're also the founder of vrtech, an event in the vacation rental startup scene, and you're just so extremely prolific in all things tech and vacation rentals. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mira. I'm very humbled to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about how you founded, because I know you have a background already you were a property manager, you were an Airbnb superhost, and how did you get into marketing and eventually marketing of Rentals United, or founded Rentals United?
Right, without going way back, right, I'm not going to talk to you about my studies or my first jobs, but just in terms of vacation rental industry, I started off by being an OTA. So we were a type of agency like an Airbnb, obviously not as successful, sadly. and we were making a commission every time there was a booking, right? So we started off with a completely bootstrapped, 25 square meter apartment in the center of Rome. And we, had the technology. We found 2 property managers to work with. And so I did the marketing for that. And we had, next to no budget. So we basically had $1,000. And we thought, okay, if we make the $1,000 work, if it doesn't work out, pack our bags, go back to London, find a job. And so we put in AdWords because obviously, at the time it's 2006, it wasn't so competitive. If you have €1,000 today to put on AdWords to market something like Rome Apartments or Rome Holiday Rentals, forget it. But at the time it wasn't. So within a week we went profit. And then that OTA we ran for about 8 years, and we were really quite successful. We had employees, and it became a proper business. And then Airbnb came along with their millions of dollars. Yes. And Booking.com started to get into our realm, and HomeAway was starting to buy agencies all over the place. And so it became really hard to make the marketing budget work. And then I made some really terrible mistakes in SEO. I was trying to get there, page 1 with some tricks, and that cost me, being on page 5. So it was bad. Anyway, so lessons learned though, never go back to B2C. And then we got a call out of the blue. There was this other medium-sized agency that said, we're not going to survive this new wave of big OTAs. We should try and come together and find a solution. And that's what we did. We went to a round table, we met with 4 other agencies, and we decided on a distribution platform. And this distribution platform would allow us to put the rentals that we had, so the property managers that we were representing, onto the big boys that had the marketing money, etc., right? The Airbnbs and the Booking.coms of this world. And this is how Rentals United was born, basically out of need, because, we couldn't make the marketing dollar work anymore in this very, very competitive B2C market. And then I, became full-time with that, and I've been the marketing director of Rentals United since the beginning, basically.
So I kind of want to hear about your SEO mistakes.
God, it's so long ago, I can't remember. I mean, SEO is the thing with SEO changes all the time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, now it's much clearer what you can and can't do. Back then, you could, you just pack your pages with keywords, you would, even keywords and the meta description would work, all sorts of nasty stuff that had no place of being there, had no use for the user, but we did because we knew that Google would pick it up. So, but today Google is so clever about that. They're really looking for really good content, right? Good relevant content, and they're getting better and better. Back then it was, wild, wild west.
That's true. It's true. It's a lot harder now, but I think that it's better. I mean, because you're kind of forced to pay attention to what you're doing. So
of course,
yeah,
otherwise you
wouldn't
be using Google, would you? If it was just splash pages with lots of keywords.
So I read in one of your Medium blog posts that you wrote that you started Rentals United cold calling.
Yeah.
Property managers.
Yeah. We had no marketing budget. I mean, we had zero, basically. So it's like, Vanessa, do what you can, but basically, And so I'm the content, always been into content for digital marketing. So I started this blog. And the initial phase, because we had no budget to market it, was to write about other companies within the vacation rental sector. And as a result of writing your top 10 of housekeeping tools or top 10 of yield managers or how to do this, etc., never talked about us, really. It was always about the others. And that got me some traction in the sense that these other companies were like, ooh, who's she? What's she doing? And then they would start talking about me, retweet, repost, etc. And then eventually that curve got me into being invited at speaking at events because, we set ourselves up as being experts in our industry, which eventually we became because we live and breathe, right? Distribution and vacation rental. And so eventually we got invited at events. And that, the blog really had this snowball effect of, getting to know your industry, being known by the industry, and then being proposed is that a word?
Yes.
But to being on stage live at events and speaking to the big boys and being recognized as an industry leader, right? And so but basically it was content originally, and still is. I'm extremely proud of our content.
It's amazing. I mean, right now you guys have, you're kind of like a media company. I mean, you are a channel management platform, but every time you Google any information about new vrtech, you have some article about it.
That's great. I'm glad you find us. That's super. Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of really the real feeling about, I think, our marketing is, we want to help. It's not about selling, which is why, the sales team and I, we always, we clash a bit. It's very recent, I have an SEM manager, for paid ads, etc. It's not really my cup of tea. Of course, you need it, drives traffic, and try and convert, nurturing, etc. But really, I think the people that we really want to attract, they're the ones that actually looking to be educated, looking to be, to find solutions to their challenges. It's a very B2B world. It's not all B2C where you just, try and sell something. I'm not trying to sell something. I'm proposing a solution in a way, and so that's coming with all sorts of content that we can write about. But I guess if I'm going to go deeper into that, for us there was a huge shift in the segments, right? Because maybe some of the content that you've read is very targeted towards property managers who are not so professional. They're smaller. They have 2-3 properties, and it's a very top level content. And that there was a real shift at one point in our history where we decided that, we don't want to attract this segment anymore. And that meant that my entire marketing strategy, all the gamified content that we had, all these top 10 housekeeping tools, for example, suddenly had no relevance at all because it was attracting the wrong kind of customer. So that's one of the things that has been a great learning curve for me, actually, is that, how to really target the right persona. So we did a huge work on personas. Who are they? How do they react? Where do they go? Etc. But very, very in depth interviews. I spoke to everyone in the team that is in touch with customers. And it was really in depth, and so that really helped us refocusing on marketing to the kind of client that we're really after today. And so as a result, the content had to shift from being quite basic to being extremely well researched, very in depth type of information, very stuff that would appeal to someone who is probably way more fluent in property management language than I am. How can I teach him something or her? So that was, that's been really good. I think that's really taught me a lot as a marketer to focus on the right segments.
Yeah, that's such a huge thing, is trying to shift. I've noticed, speaking to other owners of vrtech also, that it's like, okay, we're trying to go for only Airbnb hosts. Okay, no, wait. Some of them are on Vrbo, some of them are on Booking. Okay, wait, actually it's better. Let's just focus on the professional ones with at least 10 units, and it kind of has this progression. And then
it's very hard. It's very hard, to this day. I mean, we tracked our aim by the end of this year is to be 50-50 between people we can't serve and the people we can serve. And we're still on 60-40, right? So, still 60% of people that come to us, we can't actually serve, which, is a nightmare because the marketing dollar, the efforts and, so it's tough. It's a tough game. The segmentation. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that this interactive content that you did, it was like what PMS do you need? Some kind of quiz, right?
Yeah, so I have the PMS quiz. That's really, that was insane. But the first one I did, I literally made it for $300 on Fiverr, something similar to Fiverr at the time. And I think we got over 2,000 leads within the first 3 weeks. I mean, it was just crazy. And it was, evergreen content because I had it run for 3 years. And the idea was that you put in the type of traveler that you want to attract, and I give you the right websites for it, right? Then obviously selling the idea of the channel manager, because you wouldn't want to be on all of these websites without a channel manager, right? So it fed what we were doing. It wasn't remote. It was properly on brand. But the trouble is that I found out later is that the larger property managers, they don't make the decisions as a game. They get bombarded by channels. Every other day there's a channel that contacts them and says, "Hey, do you want to be on my website?" And this is not at all how they make their decisions. They really research all these websites. They look, they have investments, etc. So I think potentially I'm going to do something similar than the channel analyzer, but obviously it's completely different information. But it's fun. Interactive content is fun. It's fun. Great for small leads. For small leads, it's great. Yeah. I mean, for property owners and stuff. Yeah, they love it. Yeah.
That's also a challenge I had, thinking, how can I implement some kind of quiz on my website? And I'm thinking, people don't invest in marketing agencies based on a quiz. So it's also, you have to think, this could be fun and it could totally work to get a lot of people could come and fill it out, but that doesn't mean that it's the person that you want to attract.
That you want. That's right. So, I guess it's really finding the good idea that's going to, one, represent the brand, and two, attract the right lead. And it's tough. Yeah. Just like everything in content, right? Yes.
It's challenging. And now you have research papers, you have who's, you have podcasts, email courses, videos, you have a million blog posts. What do you find performs best with this new audience? What brings in?
So I was, I've been the person that said, no to webinars, but like, every time somebody would come to me, Vanessa, we should do a webinar. No way, don't put me on it, because I know exactly what happens. You make a lot of work, a lot of emailing, a lot of banners, it's a lot of content preparation, presentations, etc. And then you arrive at a time set and no one shows up. Right? Have you not seen that before? I have. And so I said, no way am I going to go into this game. This is rubbish. And so I finally said, okay, let's try. And it was just as we were going into confinement here. And wow, the results is insane. We had the first one, we had 800 people registering for it. No, it was crazy. And the second one is 1,000. And now everybody's begging me, like, please, can you do another one? But it's a lot of work, it's a lot of preparation. And one thing that I cannot stand, now is kind of webinar time, and there's hundreds of webinars around. And I cannot stand going to one just to hear some blah, blah, and how was your day? And yeah, I've been skiing last year, and how do you think about confinement and COVID? Nobody cares, right? Yeah. We want to really give, if we're going to do a webinar, which I'm quite proud, I think we've done, is give actual actionable tips, real solutions to real world problems. And it's not, about me and, how my dog is, I don't know, all this blah, blah on webinars, it just kills me. No? And please don't tell me please don't talk about COVID. Just don't talk about COVID. just give me solutions, right? And so that's what we've done. And I think it was very, very, very successful. But then you have to come up with a really good idea. And that's always a challenge in marketing, isn't it? You have to kind of get that light bulb moment and then go for it. So I don't have my third one to be quite honest with you. I'm tossing between tons of ideas, but I haven't got that moment where you go, okay, this is the one that is going to be really useful.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you think it's going to be useful and you try it and it's not. And then sometimes you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'll try it. And then it's amazing. Like you said it for the webinar.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. But these ones I knew. I knew. I knew this was going to work. So they were really on time, right on the spot, perfect weeks to do them. Nice titles. I mean, we went for it. It was cool. So the first one was, I don't know where did you go to them? The first one was midterm. Is midterm the new short term?
Yeah.
Which was at the time when, everything collapsed. There was no bookings, tons of cancellations. Shall we shift, And so, telling people about that. And then the second one was just 3 weeks ago, embracing domestic tourism, because that's the one trend that we saw is that, every booking is domestic. So how do you encourage domestic tourism? Right. So they're very channeled. It's not like, a very wide subject. Mm-hmm. It's a very narrow tunnel subject. I'm going to give you all the answers on that. Yeah, which hopefully I have.
Yeah. So how do you find, because like you mentioned, a lot of these property owners that you're targeting you could be managing 500 properties or more. And in your shoes as a marketer, how can you, maybe with not the same experience as them, maybe how do you manage to put yourself in their shoes and deliver that kind of value that's still helpful to this really high level audience?
So what's really helped me since day one, since being invited to these events, actually I am in touch with large property managers. So I go to, well, I have been, now it's over, but I have been traveling the world, going to property managers events, right? So I speak to a lot of people. Also what helped me was the podcast. So these interviews, just like you're doing now as marketers, right? I've been interviewing property managers, and every time, light bulb, this is what they worry about, this is how they work, this is how, and then this helps me create content. But it's basically knowing inside out your persona, the people that you're targeting. And that means talking to them, meeting them, schmoozing them, writing about them in blog posts, anything. Next week I'm publishing one with 16 property managers in the US. Right? So this is great because one, I make a relationship with them, and two, I'm really learning from the kind of moods that they are and what's bothering them, what's bugging them, where do they need solutions, and then always coming back, obviously, to our core. Right? We have a mission as a marketing in Rentals United. We're very, very close to the company's strategy and mission. Right? So we know what we want to be known for, which is the great. what do you want to know? No, so with us you get better conversions, right? You increase your marketing mix, and you become an expert at distribution, and we help you educate yourself in terms of distribution. Everything is basically around distribution. We're the experts in distribution, so everything that I do has to kind of go back to this idea and support the idea that what we do is distribution. So you will not find me on a random podcast webinar, talking about housekeeping, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always focus on distribution because that's what we do, right?
So you have a very help don't sell attitude towards marketing.
Yes.
But right now, with everything that's going on, so many of these smaller vrtech companies, they're just seeing everybody going, I can't invest in any more software right now, or I'm only going to invest in the, they're losing a lot of clients, and then their minds are like, okay, I need revenue. Let's put content on hold. What do you think about that? What do you think that now is still a good time to do help?
Yeah, I don't really have that. I mean, to me, the message is, and I think it's not about selling, it's really, you have to improve your marketing mix now more than ever, because so many property managers have had tons of problems, right, with certain websites and cancellation fees, etc. And that's the danger, is that people rely on 2-3 websites for them to get their bookings. So I think as a channel manager and as a distribution platform, we're extremely well placed in this environment to say, like, learn from your mistakes and now do increase your distribution, go on to way more websites, niche websites, get out there. So we don't really have that. I mean, I'm sure other softwares are really suffering the extra stuff. It's going to be tough, but this is core. This is like so core to have a channel manager and a PMS. Without these two things, you can't function. So to me, it's we're still having sales. We're hardly any churn. We're not suffering as badly as others. So yeah, but it's just because of what we are, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm pushing this with marketing messages about marketing mix, right? So make sure now is the time. Also, they have time now to invest in checking out new websites and how they work. And it's tough because many of our property managers are 1,000 plus, and it takes time and effort to kind of go onto new websites, right? So that's the deal. Now is a good time when you're in a down period to kind of invest in new websites.
I'm also curious about your content marketing team.
Yeah.
Because you said it takes a lot of research, really, really high level stuff. What does the process look like? How many people are working on it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do one big campaign, we call it, a month. And that big campaign is extremely well researched between our content team is called the Content Goddesses. It so happens that we're only chicas, we're only girls, and we have one full-time content manager, one freelance content manager.
Is it Vivian Magar?
Yes,
I know.
You know her.
I've worked with her. Yeah,
she's amazing.
Vivian,
is she listening? Cheers.
Shout out, Vivian.
Yeah. She's great. I mean, I'd love to have her full time, but she said no. And so you got Vivian, you got Beth, who is our wonderful content manager full time, and then we have a PR full time girl called Kaka, who is also helping hand, doesn't just do PR, but also does a lot of content, lots of nurturing, and helps us with research. And then we have wonderful interns. I mean, I built this business on interns, right? So never not had an intern. And some are great, some are not so great. And right now we have two wonderful interns that are just like insane at helping us, put stuff together and researching this and that. So yeah, it's kind of four or five girls' job to put one campaign together a month. And then weekly we have blog posts, and that's usually one person that takes care of that. But all the creative and content creation is all done together. So it's like, what are we going to do about the title, throwing it out, bringing it back in, should we do this, should we do that? Let's talk to this team. They know about the subject better than us, and it's tons of back and forth. Then we call up other tech providers. Hey, what do you think about this? Is this correct? Is this not correct? We call property managers up. I mean, we're like right in it. And then it's a question, is it a good campaign or is it not a good campaign, right? So some months it's all right and other months it's not so great. But that's the creative process.
Yeah.
We can't just, always be on top of our game.
And within these, so in 1 month you have 4 to 5 people working on the content. What does that create? Or I guess it's different every time.
Mm-hmm.
But on average, what kind of pieces of content do you get from that?
All right. So, for example, I would consider last month's campaign to be the 2 webinars, right? If you put them in one. And that means putting together a landing page, inviting people, following up on email, making social, helping with the presentation creation. And then once the webinar is over, it's a follow-up, it's downloadable. So the webinars are recording with the slides PDF, and you can download that. So then that gets given to the SEM manager to put on AdWords as well, and we make leads through that. So that would be one big campaign like this. And then sometimes it's an ebook. And one thing though, and I think this is something I'm going to change this summer, is that I'm kind of not so happy about having to ask for emails all the time. I kind of feel like I'm over that now. So I might do stuff for free. Like I don't even ask you for anything. I'm just going to give you the ebook without asking you for anything, because I think the more you get known for being an expert, right? And if you really have a need for channel management, then you would come to us. You don't need to have, obviously sales are going to hate me when I say that, but you need to have. And then,
I can cut this out of the recording.
No, I still need to discuss that with them. But you don't always need, but sometimes you need a helping hand. Somebody's on the phone and who wants to, you want to chat about it and just to chat. But sales and me, we have different approaches.
I think it's hard because marketing in the end should be aligned with sales, but then
yes.
people involved don't have the same immediate goals. It's like this content should be immediate. I should attribute this to this sale that I'm getting. And it's like, well, it's not exactly, doesn't go just step by step like that.
Yes, I think you need a real intent, which is where I'm so proud and grateful to the sales team. The moment there's a book a demo, they're instantly there. The moment there's a sign up, they're on the phone. Obviously, sales inquiries get answered straight away. They're totally on top of their game. But then the shift between downloading 1 or 2 ebooks and booking a demo, there's a gap, right? And so there's always a bit of how we're going to deal with each other on this front. But you know what we did recently, or also 6 months ago, we actually signed like a contract between sales and marketing on, what is a qualified lead, when should you start calling it, etc. So that was really good. And it was months of work, actually, months of fighting each other and stuff. So yeah, but I'm hoping we're going to keep this up, because now, with the crisis, obviously, there's not as many leads as there were, and people are getting a bit desperate to be on the phone and etc. So
yeah. So what does that look like? I'm sorry, I'm like getting really into this conversation.
No, I'm enjoying this. That's cool.
So basically, somebody signs up for your ebook, and obviously they're not necessarily an MQL yet. So
no.
Who's managing nurturing them in the emails? Is it the marketing?
We do, yeah.
The marketing team.
So we take them all the way to MQL. So we do the HubSpot funnel, basically, pretty much to the letter. So we're supposed to move a subscriber to a lead to an MQL. And once it's an MQL, then, it's the responsibility of sales. But we help sales a lot with their sequencing. So we wrote the sequencings for them. They then put them together depending on the type of customer. Yeah, so it's a proper HubSpot model, basically.
Okay, and it works.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can't complain.
No, I was just curious, like when you said that you signed the contract about what is a qualified lead, so does that help you, how does that help guide what you were doing? You are targeting sort of different people or nurturing them longer, or what did that?
So we have set some criteria together with sales. So let's say somebody visits our pricing page, has downloaded an ebook, and opened 3 emails. They would then automatically, this is an example, I'm not sure this is the case, but they would then automatically be placed as an MQL, because we would, decide that this will be enough criteria for us to say, okay, look, this person, should be hearing from us in a more, personal way. Yeah. Put it that way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And you use HubSpot for everything?
Sales and marketing. Yeah. It's great. And they're really responsive. So we've been with them for 2 years, and we've seen the platform grow, because marketing was quite early days when we signed up. But, they're super responsive, lots of new stuff coming out all the time. Obviously, one huge issue that every marketer has on earth is attribution, right? And even that they have improved. We managed to kind of know where our customers come from and the touch points that they're going through before. So it's really pricey, right? It's not something I could have afforded a few years ago, but now it's great. Having a great tool is
it changes everything.
Changes everything.
Yeah.
In terms of KPIs and reporting, and for yourself, knowing where you are, really, and where you're making mistakes and what can be improved. Without a great tool, it's very, very hard. Very hard.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for spending this last half an hour with me. It's been enlightening.
Well, I don't know. I want to hear from you. I'm going to ask the same questions to you with all your learnings now. How about that? We're going to we're going to turn the tables around, and I'm going to ask you all these questions. Yeah, I want to hear what you learned. Yes.
What I learned today, or what I've learned in my lifetime.
Well, let's say the last 6 interviews.
The last 6 interviews, I've learned a lot. I'll send them.
Exactly. So there you go. I'd like a report on all the best takeaways, stuff that I can apply, please.
Gladly. Yeah. Every person has different experiences, and the majority of people I spoke with are in the vacation rental niche, but not all of them. I even talked to marketers in manufacturing, and they still had something of value to provide to, that we can apply to SaaS or to vacation rentals, and just taking things from every discipline, every person. There's so many ways to connect the dots and learn.
I know, it's wonderful. Yeah, you should keep on learning. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, very important.
Always.
Yes.
So if people want to connect with you, where's the best place?
Here's my email, Vanessa@rentalsunited.com. Easy. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, and have a great day. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Flying Cat Marketing Series. If you enjoyed this interview, please give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned, because next week I'll be interviewing another leader in the SaaS and startup world, talking about their challenges and achievements. See you there.